Welcome to Getting It Done, a podcast about music, education, and life lessons. I'm your host, Tim RAUSENBERGER, and this is episode 251. What is your podcast, and why is it different? Thank you so much for tuning in today to listen to our very first video podcast, which I like to think of as a pre-show because we have such an exciting podcast planned for you later on this evening. I thank you so much for being patient this evening. We had a lot of connectivity issues with YouTube, but all is good, all is resolved, life goes on, and believe it or not, I didn't really get that upset because as I will discuss over our time together tonight and over the time that you get to know me better, you'll realize that adversity is a very real thing. I'd like to give a big shout out to all my friends, all family members. I have had so much support with this podcast over the last 2 years, particularly in the past 2 weeks. I reached out to so many different former students, people that teach with me, current students, and I got so many different types of feedback, ranging from what I'm going to be wearing today. You happen to notice, got the Mickey Mouse tie thing going on. Why? Because I have about 300 ties. I wear a different tie to my job every single day, and that's something that my students know about me. Yes, I know the microphone's probably getting in the way from my friends that have a little OCD right now wanting to see my tie, so I'll try to move every so often if I can remember. Yes, of course we had problems today. We had problems with these lovely pictures because these pictures really define who I am. We have Starry Night here, of course, Van Gogh, and this gorgeous, it was just a promotion that was done from 1994, and I received it from one of my relatives, and it just really embodies what I'm all about, which is why I wanted to have that in the background. What is this podcast? What makes it different from other podcasts? We're going to get into that as we move along, but I want to talk a little bit about the topics that I've discussed over the past 2 years. Yeah, I've had this podcast. I've had 250 episodes. Have you ever heard of them before? Have you ever listened to any of them before? There's a good chance the answer to that might be no, and that's okay. It's one of the big reasons that I'm doing this particular podcast now in a video format. I listen to you, I listen to the people that care about me, I listen to people that may not care about me, and took the positive, the negative, the constructive criticism, put it all together and said, you know, we really need to go live. And one of the big things I think you need to know about my podcast, and yes, I do talk about music, and I talk about education, and I talk about music education. You'll hear episodes that have to do with suggestions for music repertoire, pedagogical advice, life lessons, random acts of kindness, things to help teachers and parents with dealing with kids and vice versa. There'll be some of those episodes out there for the kids that I think that they'll truly appreciate because kids are really important and their voices do matter. And I know that my students out there really appreciate hearing that because I listen to their concerns every single day. So the podcast is about these topics, but one of the things that's very different from my podcast when you compare it to others, I don't do any editing. And I'm not saying that other podcasts out there and people who have successful YouTube channels or produce successful videos, I'm not saying that there aren't people out there who don't edit. I think editing is a skill. I think it is something that's very important. When I complete this video, I have to do a little bit of editing, but the content itself, and what I mean by that is I'm not going to record right now and then I make a mistake and get upset and then I have to stop and then I have to patch it and all of a sudden you see me over here and then you see me over here type of thing. I'm not that type of person. I've never been that way. When you listen to my podcasts, they're seamless. And I like people to almost think like the fireside chats of FDR or just someone just having a nice conversation with you when you're listening to the podcast. One of the things that's a little different for me with my motivational speaking, when I do it in the classroom, I do it at clinics, I'm not screaming at people. No offense, some of the motivational videos are terrific, but a lot of my students have even said over the years, you know, can you not start off our Monday by having someone yelling at us? We were yelled at for X, Y, and Z for different types of things over the weekend, and we don't want to start off our week that way. So it's important for you to understand that we're all in this together. I am so grateful that you took the time to do this. And the reason why I'm so happy, this is not about me. It really isn't. It's about you. This is about making you better. And if you took the time to actually sit down for these few minutes to listen to this short podcast, or the hour later on tonight, we're going to be on at 8 o'clock tonight. Unfortunately, it was going to be 7, but mentioned before, and we don't want to dwell on negativity because negativity just doesn't get us anywhere. It's not productive. It doesn't do anything just to whine and complain about things. But if you are investing the time, you are making yourself better. This is invaluable advice you're going to get. I don't say that in an arrogant way. Yeah, I'm talking to that one student this year who said that, Mr. R, you're arrogant. Actually said that to me and looked at me in the face, and I had to really do some soul searching. Am I really an arrogant person? And I had a talk with that student. I said, no, you know, I'm just a really confident person. I feel really good about the message that I share and my teaching style and my approach and my techniques. I feel really good about them, and I want to share that with you. And I do feel good about what I have to offer to you as students and to everyone else in the world. I'm not going to sit here and bore you with all of my details. If you want to check out my bio, take a look below. Please subscribe. You need to do that. You need to subscribe. You need to like this video. You need to share. Why wouldn't you? I've been doing these podcast episodes for 2 years, and there are a few that went quasi-semi-viral. I think that there were episodes 201 to 204, or they're right in that vicinity. There are ones about vocal survival, so if that's something you're into, then go for it. But I really vary my episodes, and there's something out there for everyone. That's the whole purpose. That's my mission, is I want to be able to give things to the public that you haven't experienced before, a different type of experience. In future podcast episodes, this won't be happening tonight, but starting next week, all of our Thursday episodes, every single episode will be live. They'll be at 7 p.m. And will we have more than one a week? I don't know yet. I don't know where this is going to go. I need to know that there are people out there that want this and they want more. And the only way I know that is I need feedback from people, because I can't do this alone. I need your feedback. I need you to go onto my Facebook page. Go to Getting It Done on Facebook with my last name, Timothy Rouse, or my full name, Timothy RAUSENBERGER. Type it in, hit me up. You can drop a message there, be able to give me instant feedback. Of course, below, you can put a comment. That would be great. I do appreciate, because I have a lot of students that are going to be checking these episodes out, and a lot of kids that are going to be tuning in. So do be respectful of other people. Next week, when we have the live episodes, we're going to have that chat box. I don't know if it's going to be there or there. I'm not sure where it's going to be, but there's going to be a chat box. And yeah, there is going to be a little bit of a filter, because we want to keep things family friendly. If you tuned in for a controversial podcast, you found the wrong place. And I know that that expression in news, if it bleeds, it leads. Well, I'm not a bleeder. I like to lead by example. I like to lead by all the great things that are not going on in this world right now. There are a lot of amazing things, but if you look at the news, if you look in sports, if you look at politics, these are some of the more controversial things out there that garner all of the attention. But too often, it's negativity. And that's something that we really don't want to be dwelling on. We want to get better. We want to be better. I want to make you better. That's my goal. And I've been doing this for a long time. The music thing, the education thing, the motivational speaking thing, and I want you to be better. And obviously because you're here, you are doing that. So I can't thank you enough. Again, sorry to sound like a broken record, but I gotta sound like that YouTube guy. You need to subscribe. You need to share. You need to like. You gotta put some comments. You gotta give me some feedback. Go to my website. My website is brasstenor.com. Go to my iTunes, Soundcloud channels where I have the 250 episodes just sitting there. Will they eventually be on YouTube? Yeah, over the course of time. It's going to take a little bit of time to get those out there. But I'm going to certainly do that for you as well. So sit back, enjoy the ride. I think we're going to have a lot of fun tonight. And Mickey appreciates you. So thanks so much, and I'll see you in a little while at 8 o'clock for episode 252, in which I'm going to discuss in greater detail all of the amazing things we're going to be doing in our video podcasting on YouTube.